Hello, and welcome back to the Cinema Bees podcast. I'd like to wish good morning to everyone except for Cinema Beers podcast. My new arch enemy. How dare you?
Monica just discovered a new podcast. It's not even new. It's been here for about a year.
For 6 months. We've been there longer.
Okay.
We were first.
Okay. Their name is Cinema Beers, and Monica thinks that's too close. Even though the premise is completely different.
Oh, it is? What's different?
I think their premise is that they drink while they talk about movies.
Oh, comedy podcast starring Ryan Klein, Ben Knight, and the Big Cheese. Each episode there will be a new beer, a new movie, or a new show. You know what? This is a more clever concept than ours. Dang it. No.
How dare they? How dare they? No, Monica.
This is upsetting.
Monica just discovered them like literally 5 seconds before recording, and she's like, how dare they? Not allowed.
It is a bit rude.
It's one letter off.
I digress.
Monica's frustrated.
I'm Monica, and this is Tyler.
Yeah. If you don't know by now.
Anyway, let's get into our subject today, which is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Ooh. Fun times.
Spooky. Tyler, let's get into... We will not get into spoilers until later, and we will warn you before getting into spoilers. So feel free to sit back and relax and enjoy our spoiler-free review of the movie. Tyler, what were your thoughts?
Do we want to talk about trailers? Sorry.
Oh my god, I forgot about our whole mission. I don't know.
There's no
trailers. There wasn't really any good ones. I've seen completely all of Buzz Lightyear at this point. I've seen the entire movie. Can't wait for Top Gun, which they filmed 5 to 10 years ago. I mean, the cast, half of them are dead at this point. Like, they've aged out.
No, but...
I mean, geez.
But yeah, Lightyear, I feel like I have seen a lot.
I feel like I've seen every joke that the little cat robot makes.
I agree.
I don't need to see anymore. Like,
I agree.
I still actually think it looks really good, but I'm like, let's tone down the trailers.
I'm really excited for it. So I'm not going to try. I'm trying to, because I know a lot of people don't like... At least for me, for like Marvel movies, I don't watch like the latest trailers because it usually tends to spoil stuff. But we were in movies and like movie theaters and we saw the Lightyear trailer. Like that's impossible not to see. So if you are avoiding it, I won't spoil anything, but it's not the direction that I thought the movie was going. Yeah. It's very much not the story that I thought.
No, exactly. Same. And I don't know.
Less excited for it.
Me too, completely. It's completely different than I originally expected. So I'm like,
the characters do not look interesting. Like they don't look fun.
No, I agree, except for Buzz.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, I'll still go see it because I'm gonna go see it. But
the ossification of Buzz Lightyear,
basically.
Oh, and Avatar too.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that there was a trailer for that until I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they were making one until I saw it in theaters.
You didn't know they were making one? Oh, they've been talking about making one for years because they're like, because of the success of Avatar. And I'm like, okay, but it was like economically, yeah, but what about the movie?
Have you seen Avatar? Be honest.
Never.
No, me either.
I've seen a small portion.
Us roasting the F out of Avatar when we've never seen it.
I just never really wanted
3 hours of my life.
Yeah. That's my...
Or like, it's 3.5 or something, but I will say
watch Muppets twice.
Flight of Passage is so amazing. I love that ride, but I still don't feel like I need to... Muppets twice. I just realized what you said. That is so funny.
Muppets twice would be more enjoyable. Like, back-to-back Muppets.
Honestly.
Or both Scooby-Doo movies.
Honestly, those are iconic. Legendary.
Anyways, yeah, Flight of Passage at Disney World, at Animal Kingdom. That slaps.
She's gorgeous.
Everything but the pre-show.
Oh my god.
Help us out. Move around a bit.
We were stuck in there moving around a bit for like 3 minutes.
We moved around a bit 3 times.
And what is his like character? I feel like that guy got assigned for like theme park pre-show video, and he was like, I'm gonna give this my all. And he like really like was like, what is my backstory? I'm an awkward nerd. And he really ran with it.
Yeah. I'm doing a ranking of all like the experiences and the rides at all the parks.
Oh yeah.
and but I'm including the entire experience. So that means like queue, pre-show, everything. And so Flight of Passage, it was perfect until I had to rank the pre-show and
Oh
line, and I'm
no.
like, I can't rank it high
The line
anymore.
is a bit miserable. It's just rocks.
Yeah, until you get inside, and then there's like
Mm-hmm.
so much to look at, but that room is so small in the grand scheme of the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even like you can't even like have time to look at it. So I was just like, okay,
Should we do a special Disney Parks episode of the podcast where you talk about that?
totally. I have a lot to say. Or we
The
can finally post on
the
our TikTok.
Oh, period. Listen, the social media has gone off the rails, as in it has been dead silent for the past few episodes, and I'm very sorry.
It's not
I will
buzzing
say
at all.
the hive is barren.
The queen bee might have died.
Well, we're getting back into it. I promise I'm going to do better. I was feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And this is
You didn't upload the Oscars episode to YouTube, loser.
oops.
So hopefully by the time this is released, both those episodes are on
Yeah,
YouTube.
Oscars is going to be on YouTube, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Shout out to our Aunt Sonia, who may be our one and only listener.
Yeah, she's staying with us. She's staying.
This is for you, Queen. Anyway, let's get into it.
Wait, can I talk about one thing before?
I keep not letting you talk about your wants and just getting into the movie. Yeah, what's up?
I know you haven't watched it. But since we're on MCU and we got a new MCU edition, in addition to Doctor Strange, we also got Moon Knight. And I'm going to rank Moon Knight. Where did I rank Moon Knight? I haven't ranked Moon Knight. So you're getting a first look at me ranking Moon Knight at this second.
Ranking it like rating it or ranking it in the MCU?
In my MCU.
Did you rank the other shows in your MCU?
Oh, no, I didn't because you hadn't. It's pretty good. It's buzzworthy. There you go. That's my answer.
Other people didn't like it, I thought.
It's pretty slow. It's not what a lot of people expected it to be, but I had high expectations and they exceeded them.
Oh, period.
Just because it very much does not feel like a Marvel property, and it's really interesting. It's just really unique.
Mm-mm.
Episode 5 and
I like
6.
I like Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
but didn't he come out and say he doesn't want to play Moon Knight anymore? Or was that like a headline?
It might have been a headline because I only saw the headline, but I saw no one talking about it.
Same. So I think it was fake news.
Probably. But yeah,
wrong.
Okay, now let's actually get into Doctor Strange, the headliner of this episode.
Heck yeah.
I guess I'll go first since you asked me how I felt about it. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty okay. There's not much to like. It's not gonna revolutionize the MCU, or it's not gonna make anyone as excited as like Spider-Man: No Way Home did, which was the last movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like everyone's like,
unless you count Morbius.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Morbius. I'm not gonna watch Morbius until it's like out. I've heard it's bad.
I heard it was so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even trying. But it's just okay. There's a lot of things that I liked about it. Or there's things that I liked about it. And there's a lot of things that I just feel like didn't work. They tried too much in some areas and tried too little in other areas.
That's a really good point. I completely agree.
Especially with what they advertised. They promoted a lot of different things, and then it didn't really live up to those things, in my opinion.
Yeah. Part of me thinks that maybe it was the audience's fault that it didn't live up to the expectations, because it's like everyone's thinking every movie now is going to be Endgame or No Way Home, and like it's just not. They can't all be that way. But I also think it was Marvel's fault for advertising it as such. So I think it was a combo.
Yeah, I mean, with Loki was like our first introduction into like multiverse stuff, and then they were like, "Oh, we're about to get some really, really cool, interesting ideas." And then No Way Home came out, and No Way Home is like really big. Like that's a really big moment. And so everyone's like, "Oh, the momentum's just gonna keep carrying forward." And the momentum did not carry forward into this movie. The momentum stopped. It dead
Yeah,
stopped.
it came to a halt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they kind of set themselves up poorly by making No Way Home and not having a buffer in between, like a buffer movie.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We can only hope that Thor is better.
Yeah, like I kind of wish that Thor would have come before this movie,
Mhm.
but I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But a I feel like getting a basic Marvel movie in between two multiverse movies would help.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like they should have just done it a little bit better.
Yeah, there must be some reason for it though.
I mean, it probably might have helped out scheduling wise because they could have just been like, "Oh, hey, Benedict Cumberbatch, you're here for Spider-Man, and we're gonna immediately go into Doctor Strange," could have been what they did. Um, and so it might have helped out just like filming wise, but unless there's something in
I saw
Thor,
I saw this TikTok talking about how bad Benedict Cumberbatch's American accent is, and I personally didn't notice it. I like it seemed real to me.
yeah,
It
I'm never good at
didn't say
picking up
it.
like bad accents though.
Especially American accents, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like any accents I don't really pick up on it very much. So I don't know. I wanna watch it back and see. But anyway, I didn't really like it.
What beef did you have without spoilers?
The dialogue was so bad.
Yeah,
This was some of the most poorly written dialogue that I've ever witnessed. And like I think I think part of what makes Marvel so successful is like the contrast between like the heavy action scenes with like funny dialogue. I think that's why like everyone loves Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers movies, etc. But this was like trying to attempt that funny dialogue, but it wasn't cleverly written at all. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I just did not like the writing. The dialogue was so bad.
yeah, and I feel like one of the reasons why it just feels so different from every other movie is because they got Sam Raimi to come on, and Sam Raimi, I didn't realize this until recently. Sam Raimi is not best known for the Spider-Man movies. He's known for Evil Dead,
Hmm.
and so he wanted to lean more into that for this movie,
Hmm.
which why it has a lot more like horror, like
Yeah.
classic horror vibes. Like there's a lot of cliche horror moments in this movie, which
Which I actually like those parts.
they're interesting, but sometimes they don't fit, in my
Hmm.
opinion. There's like one moment that always sticks in my mind that just kind of felt like, okay, really? Like, why are we doing
Hmm.
this?
We'll get into that moment shortly.
Yeah. But
Um,
the just my biggest thing, my biggest gripe was the editing. The editing
oh,
was
true.
so horrendous, in my opinion.
Like, why was it a PowerPoint slide
It
at the
really
time with a
was.
fade to black?
Like I saw someone talking about how the cinematography was great because it's like they actually moved the camera because like a lot of Marvel movies don't really like do anything inventive with the camera. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a good point. But a lot of times the movement of the camera is just zooming in on people's faces.
Yeah.
Like there's literally a scene where they go from a shot of zooming in on a character's face and then they zoom in on another character's face. They do that like 4 times
Oh
in a
my
row.
god, that is the worst scene I've ever seen in Marvel. Me and like I went with my dad and my uncle and my cousin. We all like looked at each other like, what the actual?
It's like,
We just
boy,
started laughing.
boy, boy. Like,
We
okay.
couldn't believe that was happening. Like I could not believe my
I
eyes.
thought it was like a
That
joke. And then it wasn't.
no, me too. Yeah, that's truly I feel like where because I personally think that it went downhill from there.
Yeah.
And but I think I see other people saying that the third act was the best part. But I think that the third act was I think that once you hit that halfway point, I think it was downhill from there. And for me, we were like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie and I checked the time thinking like, "Oh, we're going to wrap up soon." And then I looked at dad and I was like, "There's 30 more minutes left." And he was like, "Oh my god."
Oh no. I don't really know where it went downhill for me. It was just it never ramped up to actually go downhill, in my opinion. There's like moments. So the thing that irritated me the most in editing is there's a scene with the villain and they're like having like an epiphany moment or like some like just weird trance thing, and there's a solid 5 different videos just overlaying each other.
Oh my god,
And
yeah,
they do
it
that
was giving
so
very
much.
much 90s,
They do
yeah.
that so much. And the freaking use of just the eyes in the middle of the screen, like it's just their eyes. It was just too much. It's like
Also
I just didn't understand. Like, just do a transition or have it be some better way instead of just putting the video over top of each other.
very bad. I also think that America Chavez was the most irritating character that's I've ever come across, and I think that that actress did not do a great job. So sorry, ma'am. So sorry, miss.
It wasn't that she was obnoxious. It's just like I didn't really get much. You know what I mean? I feel like
I personally hated the way the movie opened.
yeah,
I don't know why.
same.
I hated that so much.
I did too. For other reasons which have to do with marketing. Um,
Hmm.
there's like there's a lot like in addition to the editing, the pacing is not really good. Um, for the first half of the movie, there's an A plot and a B plot. A plot like follows the heroes, and B plot follows the villain. And it's very much when you get to the B plot with the villain, it's very much oh we're stopping any momentum just to watch the villain for a second. And
Yeah, that's very true.
anytime I got to a scene with the villain, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have fun during the scene. It just like got boring. Like when it got
It
to
was
those scenes, I was
it was
just did not want to
repetitive. It
watch.
was this you kind of went through the same conflict. You like observed the same
Hmm.
conflict over and over, and by like the fourth time around, I was like, I get what the struggle is.
Yeah,
Let's move on to the resolution.
yeah.
Like,
Like I know what's happening, guys. You don't have to keep.
right.
And so that I Sam Raimi came out and said that he has a 4-hour version of the movie
Oh my god.
that's also R rated. Um,
Why would they do this to us?
yeah, and so,
Must be really bloody.
yeah, and so it's like I don't know if that would make it better because they would have more time to like focus on the things that got cut, or if it would make it worse because they would probably just repeat more than what they already did. So I'm not. I hope that people aren't going to be like release this Raimi cut like they do, like the release the Zack Snyder cut. I
Hmm.
hope it doesn't turn into that because I don't really need to see it, but I'll watch it if it comes out.
Yeah, I feel like this got really good mixed reviews. And I feel like I don't know if I've really seen anyone say they loved it.
I my
I've seen people say it's bad, and I've seen people say it's okay. But
One of my friends that I saw it with, it was his second time seeing it, and he said that he absolutely loved it. Like it's his like, it might be his favorite Marvel movie. And I'm
here's
like,
the other
what?
thing: is going into this. We went into this from two different perspectives. You've seen all of the Marvel TV shows. I have not seen a single Marvel series. So there were times, and we'll get into this during spoilers, where I felt confused.
Yeah, there's like
But I
there's two episodes that you should, two shows that you should have seen, or one show and then one episode that you should have seen before this.
in my personal opinion, I think they're gonna lose people. Well, I would say that, but look how much freaking money the movies are making. But it's like,
Hmm.
if it's becoming this complicated to stay like in touch with the universe, like I can catch a movie twice a year and that's fine. But if I
Yeah,
have to watch 4 series and like read 17 comics and memorize scripture to see the movie, then it's too far.
I know. I'm like thinking back to like what all the shows have like established. Um, WandaVision set up Scarlet Witch. Then Falcon and the Winter Soldier set up Falcon to be to to be the new Captain America. So when the next Captain America movie comes out, you're going to be like, "Oh, I guess Captain America's back." If you haven't watched that.
And
Loki isn't connected to anything just yet cuz Loki is still having a season 2. So you have no idea where that's connecting. Hawkeye set up a new Hawkeye. So Kate Bishop's in there now. So when Kate Bishop shows up, you're going to be like, okay. So it's like there's so much that's being set up.
and
But I hope that they just do it well when they actually come into the movies. Because this one did not.
no, they'll just do what they always do, where they throw like one line out there, like, "Hey, remember when we were dust? LOL, that was crazy,"
Yeah.
and then they like move on, and I'm like, that is not helpful.
Yeah.
Like, I know you don't want to have too much like deposition, but like that's not helpful for the community.
No. Like They just need to do a better job of it because this movie does not. And in my
Yeah.
opinion, there's the one of the things that they don't explain didn't really matter because you don't really need to know any backstory, which is
Yeah, but
spoilers. But the
I
other,
was about to say, I think, go ahead.
we can get into spoilers because we're trying to basically
I was
avoid.
gonna say this conversation's like getting really like encoded, and
Yeah.
I think it would just be easier if we just moved on to spoilers. So right now we're gonna start talking about spoilers. So hopefully you've seen it by now, but just move on if you haven't. But come back. Okay, bye. Love you. Okay, so
We love our guests. We love our listeners.
Sonia,
Thanks,
love you.
thanks, Anya. What
No, but so what part are you talking about?
in my opinion, the WandaVision stuff is necessary because is absolutely necessary, and they do not do a good job explaining what happened in WandaVision for you to understand Wanda's motive as a
I feel
villain.
like they could have just taken like 15 seconds
They could
to
have.
do a better job at explaining it. I mean, they showed little flashbacks of
Because
everything. Why can't you just show?
thinking about it now, because I've seen WandaVision, but you haven't. Thinking about it now, you don't know her kids until she's like already fighting for them. So it's like
No, exactly.
you're like, oh, I
Like
didn't know she had kids. Like
literally.
in my,
And I like they don't explain how did Vision die? Oh wait, we saw that.
you should have watched WandaVision, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this movie
That
would be
was the
really
one
hard to.
thing that you should have done.
Mhm. Yeah, this movie, and the other thing is, I will say it made me want to watch WandaVision because truly Elizabeth Olsen was the best part of this movie.
100%.
She's a very good actress. Her character is very intriguing and interesting.
She is an
Um,
insanely complex character.
but I will say, sorry, I don't want to jump to the ending, but I think the ending, like,
Yeah.
it was a little sudden.
I
Her
did
like
not like the
decisions,
ending.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
get into that later.
But
That whole
anyway, go
ending is
on.
just dumb. No, because do you care about spoilers for WandaVision?
No,
Okay.
I mean, hopefully not. I've already seen
Yeah, exactly.
the.
In the end of the movie, or in the end of the show, she gets the Darkhold. And the Darkhold is not explained as like, oh, it's like consumes you or like corrupts you. It doesn't no one it's not explained to you like that. And so she at the very end, she loses her kids because of she was like giving up what she did to the town, whatever. She loses her kids and then she's like, "Oh, I'm going to try to find some way to get my kids back." And the only tease we get is that she's just looking through the Darkhold or like looking through like doing her pose where she's just like floating and then she hears her kids. And so in the end of WandaVision, she makes the right choice of like releasing this town from her like bad deeds and giving up her children. And then she comes into this movie and she's like, I want my children. But everyone online is like, this totally undermines WandaVision and like this ruins her arc in WandaVision. And I'm like, where? In the very end, you see her literally looking for her kids. So it's like everyone's saying that she
Right.
gave up her kids and so she shouldn't be looking for them anymore, even though it's shown. Like, why are you upset?
Yeah, I know people whose main complaint was that it ruined Wanda's arc, but
It did
hearing
not.
about what you're saying, it sounds like it did,
It did
but I
not
can't speak for it.
at all. The only thing is that I don't. The only thing is that I think that she went 0 to 100 real fast. And they kind of explain it as like, oh, the Darkhold's corrupting her. I'm sorry, but that's not an intriguing enough dilemma. Like, oh, this book of power is making me evil. Like,
I was gonna say I think there was just way too many plot conveniences
mm-hmm.
that they didn't, and you have to give at least some explanation for it to be believable and me to really enter the universe. So, like, we found this girl that can travel. Like, first of all, traveling the multiverse is like a pretty significant deal. And it's just like, this girl travels the multiverse. We found her. How does she do it? I don't know, but we're gonna take her. And everyone's gonna try to kill her. I'm like, well, what's going on? Why can she do that?
Yeah, there's just so
I'm
much.
like,
There's so much that's not in this movie that should be in this movie, and it makes me wonder how much is in the 4 hour cut that got cut.
I think that this movie had the potential to be cool, and I think this is a complaint I can I wouldn't necessarily disappoint me, but I think it would have been really cool to see. How can you title the movie in the Multiverse of Madness and been like, we're in two universes. That's
Exactly.
it.
That's my biggest.
Like,
That's one of my biggest complaints. Is they
just don't even call it that.
no, and someone said that this isn't even. One of my friends said that this isn't even a Doctor Strange movie. This is a Wanda movie, 100%.
It really is.
And it should have just been called Multiverse of Madness. Just Multiverse of Madness. If they wanted to call it anything and not reveal anything, they could do that. But they were like, no, let's make it Doctor Strange. And I'm like, yeah, Doctor Strange is in it. That's cool. Like, okay. But they advertised this movie as so much more than it was. They advertised this movie like when the trailer first came out. There's like 3 different segments of them going through different universes. And it's shown as it's like, oh, it's different times in the movie. When in reality, it's a minute clip of them falling through all the different universes. And then they're in the one universe. And then they go to another universe. And then they're back in their own. So it's like,
literally,
why did you advertise like this was going to be like a giant multiversal escapade? And it's not.
So true.
Like, it's so annoying because like there's that animated universe. Everyone thought that was going to be like a Spider-Verse connection, and they were gonna like run into like Miles or something, and then nothing happened. It was just funny, and they were like, okay, now we're in this new universe. Like, okay, cool. It kind of makes sense for America's character to not be able to control it, and she just like randomly ends up in this random universe. But it would have been more interesting if she did it at random times and kept going to random universes and had more universes. That would have made more sense, in my opinion.
I agree. It just seems like they took steps back in like their writing process, and like there just was a lack of creativity. Like, I'm sorry, this is the resolution to the issue the whole time was very Disney Channel like.
Yeah.
If you had told her to believe herself in the beginning, we could have avoided all this. Like, telling someone to believe in themselves and that's how you solve the problem, that was not a good enough resolution to the conflict for me, especially when the conflict is literally life or death. And you're just like, believe in yourself, and she's like, OMG, should I try that?
Like, seriously, there's so much about this movie that was just so wrong. So can I just go on a rant real quick?
Please.
The advertising of this movie made it out to be so much more than it was. Not just simply because, oh, hey, we're going to be multiverse. Like, it's going to be a lot of different universes. There are so many things that they purposely alluded to it being, and it was not that. The Green Minotaur dude from the wizard place, you know that Green Minotaur dude?
Mm-hmm.
He's a whole, like, he gets his own pop vinyl. He's supposed to be a fully fleshed out character, and they cut everything that had to deal with him. That's why he's only in that movie. And so everyone was like excited for this character because it's like, oh, we get a cool like animal Minotaur. Like, that's cool. And he's not in the movie. He like says like one line. The evil Doctor Strange that we see, that was advertised as being the Strange Supreme from the What If show. That was like how they alluded to it, because it looked just like him. And he had like the same beard and stuff. It's not the same one. Ha, funny joke. It wasn't the one that you were thinking it was. Aren't you surprised? Isn't that fun? Oh, hey, look. It's Zombie Strange. Oh, that's almost like the one from the Zombie What If episode. Oh, actually, it's not from Zombie What If episode. Zombie What If isn't a part of this. And they advertise so many different things. Oh my god, the Doctor Strange from the first scene of the movie. That's another whole entire pop vinyl. And he has scenes in the trailers where he's like having full conversations.
Yeah, Dad mentioned that.
And then he's not in the movie. They cut out that entire character. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, I'm looking this up real quick. There's a character, there's a pop vinyl. And yeah, his name is Defender Strange. And he has an entire pop vinyl. He has an entire pop, like he has everything. There's so much advertising with him. Yet, he's not in the movie. He dies immediately.
Yeah, and I know this isn't like a valid complaint. I get that it's a company. I understand that literally the whole reason they're in it making these movies is for money. But they're clearly becoming just a money machine where they're being like, oh, you have to pay for Disney Plus because you have to watch this show so you can watch this movie. But you better come watch this movie so you can see what happens. Oh, but it's not what you thought it was it? So I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I feel like they're
Yeah.
sacrificing like good content just to pump out these like shows and movies and force everyone to watch them. Which like, I don't know how to explain it, but I mean that's obviously a stupid complaint. Like, of course they're gonna want to make money, but I wish the quality of the content wouldn't like slack because of it.
Yeah.
My other thing is, I think you cannot rely on cameos to save every movie that comes out. Like, I get it, Captain Carter was cool. When you basically, I mean, even when you watch No Way Home, like when you are like literally leaving room for applause,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean, in your movies, that's weird. Like with the Captain Carter thing, everyone was like like applauding, and I'm like,
See, no one
this.
applauded in the entirety
Mm,
of my movie. The
no one really
only the
applauded.
only gasp I got was the man, the myth, the legend, John Krasinski as freaking Miss Richard Reed or Mr. Fantastic.
Dad figured
Reed
that out
Richards.
because they said Baxter Corporation, and Dad was like, Fantastic Four, he's good, someone's gonna be here. And then they said, then they showed John Krasinski, and me and Dad were the only people that gasped. Everyone else was just sitting quietly in their chairs, like,
Yeah, no, I was freaking out. I I was so hyped when I saw that.
I love John Krasinski.
And he's like the perfect, like everyone says that he's like the perfect fan cast, and he does well, but like he didn't have enough to do in this movie. Okay, hey, this is I will get back to that. We'll get back to the whole Illuminati section because that there's a bunch of just I have a bunch of beef with that section in general. Um but I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. Yeah, the Captain Carter stuff. It comes from What If. That comes from the first episode of What If. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you need to watch What If for this." Like they really made it seem like you needed to see What If for this movie. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing you need to know about Captain Carter. It's Peggy Carter as Captain America. Oh wow. Cool, she gets cut in half. She's dead. I'm glad
Yeah,
that
I know
I'm glad
exactly.
that you saw her on the big screen. Aren't you happy? Aren't you satisfied?
And I guess the other thing I don't understand about the multiverse, but I guess this doesn't matter. How come Doctor Strange is the same guy in every multiverse, but like, um, Captain Marvel isn't like always
Brie Larson.
it's the same girl. Like in this one it was Monica. Yeah.
Well,
And then
that's yeah. I mean, but that's just like different scenarios. I mean, like it's the same way with Captain America. It's just like in the Captain Carter universe from What If. Steve Rogers got shot, like because someone tried to tamper with the machine, and so Carter had to step in to get the serum. So it's like I think it's stuff like that. It's probably in like that universe. It's probably instead of Brie Larson going on the jet flight with the girl in her movie, it was just Monica Rambeau chose to go on that mission. So that's
mhm.
just stuff. I think that's just like stuff that they were like, oh, this would be fun, but it's like, okay, do we actually care? Not really.
Yeah, and they spend so much time on it and not enough time like actually worrying about the plot.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Getting into my beef with the Illuminati in general. So first of all, I know this episode is kind of just like going on different places, but it's just not a good movie. It's really not.
Really, you started out saying it was just okay, and now here you are. This happens every
It
time.
does. It does. My opinion changes the more I talk about it because I don't really give time to think until I'm like actually talking. So it's probably going to go down.
Because in general, when you leave, you're like, did I have a good time? Yes, it was a good movie. But
Yeah.
then as you start to reflect on it, you're like, hmm.
Yeah. My beef with the Illuminati. So it's cool. Mordo is cool, I guess, that he's back, but Mordo isn't the same Mordo that we actually know and care about or we're interested in, so it didn't really matter. So, one more beef with the advertising. I just got mad beef with this movie.
Okay.
You know how they get to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and then there's that statue of Doctor Strange
Yeah.
in the big coat and stuff. That's straight from the
Yeah.
comics. But
Oh.
but that version of Doctor Strange got his own pop vinyl as like a living person, not as a statue. So everyone was like, "Oh my god, we're getting comic accurate Doctor Strange in this movie," and then he's dead. He literally
No, they're
died.
definitely gonna try. I bet they're gonna release the 4-hour Raimi cut for sure.
So it's just
I
it's
bet.
so annoying. So much was
Hmm.
lost that they made it seem like it was there. And that could have been their way with being like, if we promote this stuff, then people won't spend time trying to figure out what else we have hidden in this movie. But the only thing they have hidden is the Illuminati section. That's it. And they revealed most of that. The only two people they did not specifically reveal were Reed Richards and Black Bolt.
Hmm.
My beef with the Illuminati section. Going into another rant. It's cool. Like, I guess it's cool to see like a different universe. Like Reed Richards probably was the one that figured out the Ultron bots. So it's cool to see like, oh hey, they actually, instead of Iron Man, Reed Richards is the smartest. But I liked them all getting murdered. That was very, very
Oh,
entertaining. Um,
the way Black Bolt got murdered was
oh,
brutal.
dude,
We were all like, "Oh,
insane. I was not expecting that.
no."
Um, and like I can only imagine the R-rated version of that. It probably just shoots out.
Yeah.
Um, no, but like they're like, oh yeah, the smartest man on earth, Reed Richards, and then Reed Richards goes up to Wanda and says, "Yeah, Black Bolt's power is that he can shout at you." He tells him, he tells her how his power works, and that's why she takes away his mouth because she's like, oh, great. And then when he goes to attack her, he just reaches out in front of him to go grab her. And I'm like, you're the smartest man in on Earth, and that's what you've done. Those are your two actions. That we
He's smartest, but he didn't say he was good at combat.
Yeah. And so it's like stuff like that. It's like, what do you mean that's how it ended? Like, what do you mean that's how you chose that to go? And so it's like, there's just so much. And I love Black Bolt. Also, I didn't realize that Black Bolt is straight from the Inhumans TV show. The one that was like canceled and like not considered canon. They actually got him from that. So I was surprised by that. I found that out later.
Interesting.
Um but Black
Interesting.
Bolt is like a major character in the comics, so it's like cool to see him in there. Um, but he was cool. Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic were cool. Seeing Professor X was cool,
That was cool.
but he didn't really do much, and then he got his
No.
neck snapped.
That was brutal
That was
also.
also
I was
really
like,
cool
holy crap.
because like you see it turn, and I was like, Jesus. Um, you're telling me that Captain Carter just lets the shield go back at her and doesn't try to grab it or stop it?
Exactly.
And then you're telling me that Captain Marvel, who flies in space and literally gets hit by lasers, who also got punched by Thanos with the Power Stone, gets crushed by a statue?
I agree. I agree completely.
Like, what do you mean? Also, Mordo gets stuck in a pit, and then Doctor Strange is just gone. Also, Wanda, why is Wanda walking so slowly towards America Chavez? Like, just walk a little bit
Well,
faster. Put some pep in that step.
we said after the movie that the reason it was like horror movies and the fact that when people needed to take action, they just walked really slowly or stood still.
Yeah,
Like that scene we
there's
referenced earlier, when they all look at each other and like with the close zoom
yeah,
ins on like 4 different people, I was like, why did you guys just stop to look? Keep walking.
yeah.
And like, of course she's gonna get out soon. I don't know. That was so irritating.
That I'm pretty. You're thinking the time where they keep closing the doors, correct? Was that
No, they're
that?
like walking through the tunnels. Yeah, yeah, they keep closing the doors, but then the
The
like
one door
stone like
closed.
falls in front of Wanda, and so everyone just stops to look and see if she's gonna get through. And I'm like, why in the world would you just stop? Please keep moving forward to your destination.
Yeah, and like that thing where like they keep closing doors. Wanda keeps busting through, and then they close a door, and Wanda doesn't bust through, and then they're like, "Where is she?" And then she just pops out of the shadows like a jump scare, and I'm like, "What is this
Yeah,
movie? Like, what are we watching?
it
This
was
isn't even
crazy.
scary. It's just it's just a mismatching of so many different ideas."
Exactly. And then in terms of dialogue, when like um what's her name? Karen, Clarice, Christine,
Christine Palmer.
Christine. When Christine, when she's like, just some of the dialogue was so bad. When like, sorry, I just got ahead of myself from my thoughts. So Doctor Strange takes over the zombie and takes over Zombie Strange, and all the demons come out and attack him. And instead of just like being spooky, the demon quite literally says, "Doctor Strange, you can't take over a dead body." Like, why would a demon say that? And so then the demons all attack him, and then Rachel McAdams takes the thing as like, "Go back to hell, demons." And I'm like, why did she just say that? That was embarrassing when she said go back to hell. I was like, you could not have just said anything and just done the power.
Yeah.
And then when all the demons start attacking Wanda and she's just swatting them away, I'm like, the true leader, the leader of the dark world, and she's like, and
yeah,
like, that's what
you can literally alter reality, and you're just swatting
she's like,
at
oh
these
no.
guys.
that was when like me, I was just like, this is a joke. This is a big joke.
Like they used Wanda so well in the
last 10 minutes they're like, forget it.
In the
they're like, forget that she did any of that.
They use her so well. Like literally, you're telling me that like Wanda can't alter reality and bend Doctor Strange into stringy bits? Like what? So a lot of the things that people are upset about with Wanda is that in WandaVision she enslaves an entire town. That's her big like bad act. And then at the end, she's like, "Oh, this was bad. I'm gonna undo it all, and I'm very sorry." And so then she secludes herself because she's like feeling guilty. And then in the next movie, she like literally like commits mass genocide on an entire magical civilization.
I can see that.
Like what? And so it's like them just saying, "Oh, hey, the Darkhold corrupted her." That's not enough for me to be like, "Oh yeah, she's evil now enough to like murder like Thanos murdered." Like what do you mean? What do you mean that she's just like, oh, she like the Darkhold just it has a hold on her? Also, excuse me, I guess it makes sense. It makes sense, especially in a comic book. But they have a book of dark and a book of light, and those are the things that basically like you have a good versus evil conflict. Like, it's not interesting. You're just saying, I need to get this thing because it's the only thing because it's good to stop Wanda.
And then that doesn't work. That solution falls short in 5 seconds flat. They're like, well, let's use the dark one anyway. I'm like, well, you could have accessed the dark one several times now and just done it just fine. I'm like, what's going on? And then, I'm sorry, what the frick was Christine when he was like, Christine, guard my body? And I was like, this woman?
Yeah.
Like, this doctor? What the freak is she going to do? Well, she did it. She said, go to hell, demons, and there they went.
So it's just like so much is weird. So like it's very funny because it's like in the first Doctor Strange, Christine Palmer's in it, but he's like, oh, I have bigger things to deal with. So Christine's put to the side.
And now she's like the driving force of his
because in What If, there's an episode that only surrounds like basically instead of Doctor Strange losing his hands, Christine dies. And so he then goes back in time to try to save her. And basically, no matter what he does, she always dies. And so then it turns into this big thing where he like tries to like alter time and alter reality to save her because he loves her so much. And that's the best episode of What If. And I think after that, they were like, people really like it because they're in love, not because the episode's good, just because they're in love. So now it's just going to be the driving force of Doctor Strange, even though it literally never has been.
Like, we don't care about this girl. And also, if you go back and watch the wedding scene again, from the first scene in the movie, you can tell the dialogue is bad. Like when they're having a conversation at her wedding,
you have to be the one that holds the knife.
I was like, "Why, girl? This is my wedding. Why are you talking to me?" Like, I was like,
this is my wedding. I don't have to talk to you. I could just leave.
And then there's like monsters like crawling across the city, and people are just like observing from the balcony of the wedding. Like, what a beautiful view! And I'm like, this is.
There's one really funny clip of it going around right now. That there's a scene where like the first scene where the big eye monster is like going through the city. Doctor Strange is walking towards it doing like his hand magic stuff, and there's this one guy that's next to him that holds a briefcase, and in one shot he's running away and he's past Strange. The next shot, he is reacting in front of Strange to the monster and turns to run. And the next shot, he's just now started to run. And then in the next shot, he's back observing it. And so it's like,
how can they do
like
that?
the
That's so
guy's in like 4
embarrassing.
different moments. And so everyone's like, man, he got stuck in a time loop. Like, what happened? Man, that monster must be strong.
That's embarrassing. Like, you couldn't have checked that.
That's what I'm saying. The editing is awful. Like the editing,
I
it's
swear
some
they
of
were
the
like just
worst
trying
editing
to.
I've ever seen in a movie before.
It's like they were just trying to scramble it together so quick. But you're so right. The fades to black between scenes, I was like, this is humiliating.
Okay, now getting to the end of the movie, just disregarding just how they resolved anything. Um, I will say, the Doctor Strange, like going into a dead body was really cool.
Yeah.
That scene, and the musical fight between him and Evil Strange, those were kind of cool.
We hated the musical fight. That was so random.
It was
What the
very
freak was
random.
going on?
I'm not
We were like,
I'm
we were
not
like, okay.
I'm not denying that it was the most random crap in that movie, even more than like the Illuminati, even more than that. It was very just random. I thought it was cool. I never said it was good. It was
Okay,
cool
okay,
because
okay.
it was just like it took me a solid like 20 seconds to be like, is this what they're doing? Like, are they making this into a full thing? I thought they were just gonna do it like once. Like it
No, same. I thought it was gonna be like one cool thing. They're like, I'm like, oh no, it's
like
fully
this is
happening.
just what's happening now. And I was like, okay. And then and then the end where there's just like a ball of the notes, and then he's like, a harp. And then the little it's like the tiniest note, and it just makes its way over to him and it explodes.
So
You're
bad.
like, what is happening? How did we get to this?
It was so. We literally all looked at each other like, "Girl, what the?"
So it was cool just because it was unique, and I've never seen anything like that. But it's not good. Same way that the Doctor Strange, the dead body, the corpse thing, it was cool, but it wasn't really good. It was
And
just,
like, was it supposed to be funny? Because I thought it was. It like I couldn't tell it was supposed to be serious or
yeah,
funny. Because it was supposed to be funny, it was hilarious. But if it was supposed to be serious, that was the weirdest thing I've ever
yeah.
seen.
I did not know
And
how I felt about it.
I don't
Anyway,
know. The whole movie was just poorly written. But anyway, what were you gonna say about the ending?
anyway, just believe in yourself thing. I have gripes with.
That's what I'm saying. That
It's
truly irritated me so much.
and
All we had to do was tell this girl to believe in herself 10 years ago to make a punch.
they should have done. I saw someone say that maybe there's more in like the extended cut, but they should have done a scene where America is like punching her through different realities, and then like they interact with other Wandas in that, and then during that scene, America's like, "Oh, let me take her to her kids," and that's where she's like, "Oh, she needs to see how her kids would react to her right now." And that would make sense because the scene I do.
Yeah, I like that part. I liked that part. I think the kids were irritating beyond belief and they were horrible actors and they couldn't have found any freaking different kids. But either way, I liked that scene. I liked Wanda's arc, how she was just like, oh my God, like, what have I done?
Yeah,
And
no, it was perfect. That one was so well written. It could like all the Wanda stuff is really cool because it just feels real.
yeah,
As real as
Wanda
it
was the
can.
best part, truly.
And she really was. But then she's like, I must atone for my sins. So let me just throw the Darkhold, this giant rock building, on top of me. And I'm like, but why? Like,
Yeah, I don't think she's really
she's not
dead.
dead. But the fact that they tried to make it that way. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I almost started laughing when the Darkhold is falling apart and then it just fades to black in the middle of it.
it was so
I
bad,
almost started
dude.
laughing. Like, why
Like, it's humiliating.
why did you not let that sit a little extra bit? Like it just faded to black. Also,
They're like, time to wrap it
why
up.
are there so many cuts to black like it's a freaking TV show and they're allowing time for commercials? Like there's so many moments where there's going to be like that's the designated
Literally.
moment to go to
Literally.
have a commercial.
Maybe he forgot he wasn't editing a made for TV movie. He
Yeah.
was like, every 15 minutes, let's throw one that fades to black. Um,
It's just
the other thing was, yeah, I don't know. It was generally bad. One thing about the ending though is it's funny. So like here you have like the most powerful. So they cut to the next scene and like they're back at the Doctor Strange house. I don't know what's it called.
Sanctum
That what is it
Sanctorium.
called? The Snakem Sanctorium. The
Sure.
what?
Sanctum?
The Sanctum Sanctorium.
Yeah.
The Sanctum. They're back at the Sanctum Sanctorium, and like these are the most powerful like humans in the world, and they hired like construction crew. Like
Oh.
you guys couldn't have just built it with the magic. There's like construction workers working in the back. I'm like, they're just boosting the economy, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like,
They're just
you guys
looking
could
out.
not have built that yourself.
They're looking out for
There's
their
like
fellow man.
I'm like, Dad was like, could they not just like do that with magic?
And then someone was saying that they think that they're setting America Chavez to be the next Doctor Strange.
That would be unfortunate for all of us. I would literally stop watching the entire MCU because she was irritating.
The thing is I like America Chavez, but I like her because her powers allow for multiverse stuff, not because the character is good.
True.
Because the character is not good. It's just that she opens up the door for so much more.
And that's a good point. It wasn't even the character, I'll say. I think it was the actor. So sorry to her.
So I just didn't really get really anything out of it. It's not that I didn't like her. It's just that nothing really happened enough for me to actually care about her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Like, oh no, her moms are gone. That sucks. Everyone's parents are dead. Like, literally everyone's parents are dead.
Yeah. And Dad was like, man, if she never got stung by a bee, this never would have happened. And I was like, he's like, you're telling me that all this happened over a bee sting? And I was like, kind of, yeah.
It's like the end game freaking happened because a rat stepped on a button. And this is, she got stung by a bee. Oh no. It's just like, I don't understand.
So now that you've reflected on it, what would your rating be?
Hang on, I got one more thing to say.
Oh god, okay.
Why did he gain a third eye?
Oh,
what does that mean?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Then they go into the next scene like nothing happened, and then like she's like, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm blah blah blah. I'm the niece of Dormammu. I'm here to take you." And then he's like, "I'm ready." And then he has his third eye, and I'm like, "What is happening?"
It was crazy.
Like, what do you mean? She's the niece of Dormammu, and why is she there? And what is happening?
Need more info.
Like, it doesn't make me excited for anything else.
No.
Like, one.
I was just like, is that Charlize? And then they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well.
Like, the third eye didn't even make me excited. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean for the grand scheme of Doctor Strange? That he's, like, partially evil now? Or that he has more power?
Yeah, I know, Sam. I wasn't sure.
What?
Yeah. I couldn't tell what it meant either.
I will say the final after credit scene was actually really funny.
Oh, it was. Did you know that he's in like every movie that okay, I didn't know that.
I found that out afterwards. He's like the main, I'm pretty sure he's the main actor of Evil Dead.
In Evil Dead, yeah.
I thought that was funny. I didn't realize that. But anyway. Final verdict. Let me check my ranking again.
Is it still above Ant-Man? How dare you? Why would you do this to Michael Pena and our American hero Paul Rudd?
Okay,
they don't deserve this.
It's going under Ant-Man. Oh my god. See, I don't know. I think I'm gonna flip my things around. It's above Black Widow for me. My problem is I feel like I would rather watch. I don't know. I'm having trouble putting it above Black Panther.
Minutes in the movie reflecting. Don't mind that, everybody. Putting it above Black Panther?
I don't know, because I have mine Ant-Man.
Don't put it above Black Panther.
Don't?
No.
Because I have Eternals above Black Panther right now, and I don't agree with that.
Where's my Ant-Man? Oh, I see. I'm putting mine in... I'm putting mine... Okay. My ranking is a bit inaccurate because I do think I need to watch Thor Ragnarok again because I feel like my Thor Ragnarok is too low.
It is.
But I am putting it above Thor and below Thor Ragnarok, which is below Captain Marvel. So it's between Captain Marvel and Thor, which would make it close to the bottom. It's my 6th from the last.
So I'm changing mine around a bit. Just because I had Eternals above Black Panther, and I would rather watch Black Panther more than Eternals simply because it's shorter.
Interesting.
So mine used to go. It would been the end of B tier would have gone Ant Man Eternals. Then C tier would have started Black Panther, Black Widow. I'm putting it above Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is above Black Widow. So I'm putting it above Black Widow. Then it goes Eternals, then Black Panther, then Ant Man. So it's going in my C tier, right above Black Widow.
Okay.
And
okay,
and then swap Eternals for C tier and Black Panther for B tier.
Okay, I respect that.
And that's really the only change I have. That. Like, it's fun, but I wouldn't want to watch it again.
I didn't think it was boring or anything. It wasn't like Thor where it was boring, or Thor Dark World or whatever, but it was entertaining, but I just think some of it was just laughable. Like, if I was recommending someone watch MCU, I would never recommend them watch this first because I don't know if they would continue.
Yeah, exactly. There's like I always say, there's a difference between having a bad movie and having a boring movie. And a boring movie is worse. And this was not boring because it's very entertaining because of just how ridiculous it gets. But it's also extremely frustrating because of the things it decides to do and then the things it decides not to do. So, we have to ask the question, is it buzzworthy?
I would say it is buzzworthy because, you know,
it's MCU.
Marvel MCU is buzzworthy in general, so I would say yes, but I wouldn't say it's more buzzworthy than anything else I've seen this year.
So I think we're gonna this is our first time disagreeing.
You don't think it's buzzworthy?
I don't.
But you have it ranked higher than me. You fool! Get your feelings straight, because you're not being consistent.
It's just there's no reason to watch it right now.
That's actually a good point.
There's no reason to watch it immediately because it's not good enough to just want to go see it.
That's true. And normally, like, after we see a Marvel movie, like, me and my coworkers like deliberate and be like, "Oh, what did you like? Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool." This one was literally like a 10-second conversation. Like, did you see Doctor Strange? Yeah. What did you think? It was okay. Same. And that was it. Like, there's nothing else to say. Yeah.
Like, it's. I feel like it's bad when when this episode has been so random because there's so much bad things to say about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no cohesive, like, problem with this movie. It's just everything is just wrong or off. So it's like, I just can't.
I can't think. Yeah.
I can't get behind calling this movie buzzworthy when I have no desire to see it again, other than it being a Marvel movie. And normally I would say it would be buzzworthy just because it's a Marvel movie, because I love Marvel movies. But this is just not it.
You need to rank it lower then, sir. You need to reevaluate and come back to us.
I wouldn't say Black Widow was buzzworthy. Or did I?
I don't remember. I don't
know. Alright, maybe it's a little bit buzzworthy just because it's Marvel. If you're into Marvel, it's buzzworthy. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
If you're not into Marvel, there is no reason to see this movie. And there never will be.
Dang, are you mad? No.
I'm frustrated with this movie. I wanted so much more. And I didn't get it.
Tyra's going to cry about this for the next hour, so we're going to head out.
We're going to stop this episode here before I have an emotional breakdown.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok where we will be posting content this week. Don't get it twisted. We're going to do it.
Also, look forward to the Oscar episode that's going to be on YouTube now and not just...
Yeah. The disrespect.
Yeah. I think I have it made. I just never posted it.
Yeah, I think so.
So, look out for that.
All right. It's on Spotify, just not on YouTube. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.